Okay, back to 9.5. Research on the Pledge of Allegiance alternatives. I guess we could get that via Dropbox. Right here, I'm going to do that.
Scott, I'm going to defer to you as our presiding officer.
Well,
So,
this is, well, first of all, they are published, the suggestions online, so why don't we take some public comment, unless there's clarifying questions needed. Any public comment?
Now you're giving too much public comment because we've already had public comment for 5 we're on. But anyway, it's no law saying you can't have more public comment, but we've already had it for this topic. Aren't I correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess more comment. I like the idea of the singing. I think it's really good. It's unifying. I love the idea of the Woody Guthrie song. I think it would be great. Plus, it would put the town on the map. Might get on Fox News. I like the idea of this land is your land, and I think that's what you guys should strongly consider. Thanks.
Okay, discussion on the issue.
I cannot carry a tune, nor do I particularly wish to start now. And I'm not a big fan of pomp and circumstance. I like the idea of just going ahead and starting the meeting.
I concur. That's going to be some comments on this. I neither can carry a tune nor have any desire to fill time.
If there was a performer that you'd like to bring in, and could be a different person each week, I'd be happy to listen to This Land Is Your Land.
Well, my proposal also included us restating what we, a shorter version of what we did when we took office, a kind of oath. Partly because if the general public looking at what's happening here, they don't really understand the constraints of government. And to emphasize our primary documents, I think is a good idea. And if we were to just say that, you can imagine the city attorney would come up to the podium and say, council members, raise your hand. I pledge to honor the U.S. and California constitutions. And then that's what we would then sit down. And this would say excuse me, to all those present, we are a city, state, and nation of laws. That's primarily what we are. And that's what happens here. We make things, we create things within this framework. And that isn't necessarily obvious to the general public, but it's also a good thing to remember for ourselves. And then to have something more spirited, likenable to the pledge. This is why I suggested the first verse, only 4 lines of the Woody Guthrie tune. Maybe we don't have to sing it. We could just say it, sort of.
Like Cake?
Like Cake. What?
Singer Cake who just sings?
Amenable to that. And partly why I'm suggesting that is within the framework of of Woody's first verse, it assumes something very contradictory to the first thing we'd be doing. It assumes that, hey, this is our place. We control this land. And so you have 2 things. You have a primary document saying things about private property and laws, and then you have an assumption that, hey, this is our place. We can make of it what we do. And I think both things are true. That's why I like both together, that it's a balanced mental set doing this office.
Could you read to us how your oath would go so we can hear it?
Well, I guess it would be the right hand in that's convention. I pledge to obey the laws of the state of California and the Constitution, or I should say, I pledge to support the Constitution of California and the Constitution of the United States. That's simple. All 5 of us would do that. And you would see that whatever we're doing here, we're bound by those documents. Then we might rise and face this group and ask them to sing with us. This land is your land. I'm looking for the lyrics. This land is my land.
This land is
California.
your land. The New York.
New York Island.
The Highlands, yes.
Island.
New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to
From
the
the
Gulf
Red-
Stream waters, this land is me. We could just even say it. We don't have to carry a tune. How about that?
I think I'd have to.
Can the
carry it.
non-tune people handle just saying it? And then we get the audience singing it, we can mouth that, and pretty soon we're singing it. So.
You know, I just... Don't laugh, I haven't started. I appreciate you, and I just want to take the moment to appreciate you because the Pledge of Allegiance is an important thing for a lot of people, and very few people question its use or usefulness or why we do it. And I think it's incredibly thoughtful that you have thought about what it means and the words of it so much that we are having a very serious, albeit lighthearted, discussion about what is the appropriate thing for the community and those who are elected to represent it say to affirm the values that we are supposed to reflect as elected people. So I cannot sing, but in deference to your leadership on this issue and bring it forward, I will be fully supportive of whatever you propose that we do, because I think that's the appropriate thing to do here. So if you want me to sing, we may not get many people at public hearings anymore, but I will sing.
Well, I'm pathetic in that department myself. You know, I can't sing really either, but, you know, one verse, we could, you know, sometimes, you know, if you're bad at singing, people want to listen. They're like, oh, you know, we'll get some added community interest.
I just don't think we'll be able to get the public to stop at the first verse, but I also support you, Scott, and I would be tickled to honor your request.
Make a motion, Scott. What would you like to do?
Okay, I move that we have a 2-part
It's a new
substitution of the pledge with a shortened oath the city attorney would ask of us before we start. Or maybe that might be too much work. We could just all say it together.
I'll look too, or no?
Self-administered.
We could self-administer for efficiency purposes. Our city attorney likes that. And then we would initially read the first verse and ask the people to chant it along with us and maybe sing it. Okay, that's a motion. We have a second.
Just sing it.
Your motion. I will second the mayor's motion.
Okay.
Let's try it once and see how people feel.
I mean, as an experiment now.
Oh, you mean at the next meeting?
Absolutely not right now.
If they haven't tuned out, they will.
We might lose this vote if we have to do
the words
it.
up on the screen. The bouncing ball.
It's not a bad idea.
But I think you don't take the gravity of the situation.
Are we ready for a vote?
Let's go for
I
it.
think, Mayor. I think Mr. Peck.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the initial. I feel like there's not a, you're saying no, don't talk?
No, see, I'm hard no on this.
Oh, okay. Again, I think we're looking for something to fill time that we could put to better constraints. And when I think about it, tonight's the perfect example of we get together, we start the meeting at 6, but we don't do the pledge. We never did the pledge at that time, but people come up and have public comment. We go into closed session, we come out, we start the successor agreements, the successor agency, we still haven't done the pledge or any task. And then finally we get to the city council meeting, which could be as late as 7:30. I've seen it start even later. And now all of a sudden we're going to stop and do this wonderful community bonding moment. I feel like I think we're looking to put something in for a thing that was added that doesn't need to even be there. I think it's the same thing as doing the roll call 3 times. We sort of stipulate we're all here. So I'd love to see, and I'd love to see you do this, something that we put at the top of the agenda, sort of the thought of the day or the community building thing, but let's not spend time, again, we sit through long meetings. The poor gentleman who was here on parking spaces until 10:45, I don't know that it's been taking 5 minutes. So that's just my suggestion is, whatever we do, I'd love to just see it printed at the top of the agenda, the thought of the day,
Are you going to make an alternative motion?
That's my alternative motion, is if we do if we're going to do something, I'd love to just see it in print so we can move through. That's my alternative.
Is there a second to that?
I'd second that.
There we go.
Is that what you want to do? He's saying something that we don't say anything then.
No, I don't want to do that. I want to do my motion.
Okay, so all right, so we have a substitute motion though.
So, or we have 2 competing motions, I guess.
So do you vote on the substitute
You vote on the
motion first?
Vote on the
substitute first.
substitute
Share the
motion.
thought of the day, if not the mayor.
I'm sorry?
Who would prepare the thought of the day to be printed on the
Oh, I think that
agenda?
falls to the mayor.
Okay.
Okay, so
It could be repetitive. It could be the Woody Guthrie song every month. So
Just so that I could be clear of the motions that we have on the floor. So currently we have a substitute motion by Councilmember Pats and seconded by Councilmember Medina. That would essentially be no pledge and no
pledge, no alternative.
alternative.
Yeah.
Okay, so the substitute motion is voted on first, and then
Yes.
the original motion is voted on if the substitute
necessary,
motion fails.
Oh, it's going to fail.
All right, so are we ready to vote on the substitute motion?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez.
No.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes, please.
Councilmember Pats.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bowders.
no.
Mayor Donahue.
No.
Okay, that
This is getting interesting.
fails with a 2-3.
So we go back to the mayor's
Go
motion.
back to the original motion from the mayor.
Okay, vote on the original motion. Councilmember Martinez.
Yes.
Councilmember Medina.
Nay.
Councilmember Pats.
No.
Vice Mayor Bowders.
Aye.
Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Passes 3-2.
Showing up to be sober anymore.
Okay.
You don't have to open your mouth.
Okay, so now we are continuing on with,
This is indulgence.
We're at 9.8.
If I may, Mayor, shall staff prepare a little sample language of what we understand you to mean by the abbreviated oath and
yes,
work with you on
yes,
crafting that?
yeah.
Okay.
Wait, did we?
Okay, so now we are on to